Welcome back to the Big A, second episode. Let's get it. Today we are going to be talking about confidence. This is my little confidence 101. Unfortunately, I don't have Moza next to me because she declined my offer of becoming the co-host. So it's just me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end. Anyways, let's get into it. Enjoy! Hello, everyone! Welcome to my podcast, The Big A. I just want to start this episode off with a big fat apology. I have all the gear and clearly no idea. My last episode, I don't know what happened. I thought I was doing the right thing, but the audio is so bad on my first episode. You've got to forgive me because I am really it's trial and error out here. I do not know what I'm doing. I'm trying. So we're going to have some small improvements each episode. I need to work on a jingle too. Today we're going to be talking about confidence. Confidence 101. Confidence is such a big part of achieving your dreams, success, goals, coming into your own character, and just being your own person. And confidence is one of those weird things. I don't know if you're born with it. I don't know if it's something, I think personally it's something it's like a muscle you need to train. Some people are born with it a bit stronger. Some people lack it, and it's it's a journey. And again, trial and error to kind of, build your confidence up. I definitely don't think that I really felt confident about myself until maybe like a year or 2 years ago. I feel like that's when I started becoming confident. Because I let my insecurities take over, waste a lot of time, put it that way. I let my insecurities waste a lot of my own time. So I will start by little story time. When around 2 years ago, I was at a very low place in my life. I had gained quite a bit of weight. We're talking about 12 kilos. I was coming towards the end of a relationship that I was in, and we all know that kind of first real love. It's like Drake's lyric, what is it? First love is the sweetest, but that first cut is the deepest. And that is for sure. Because I really, really lost myself. And what's interesting about when you have your first proper boyfriend, or your first proper relationship and stuff, you become very, very codependent. And it's natural, it's like your first time really coexisting with a person, prioritizing a person, and you build this level of codependency, like your happiness level throughout the day kind of relies on the other person, and you get a lot of comfort and all these beautiful things. But when I found myself out of that relationship, I was like a deer in headlights. I was feeling so unfulfilled. I was so unhappy with my life. But what was interesting was as soon as I left that relationship, I lost all the weight. And a lot of things in my life started falling into place. And I kind of started looking at myself a bit differently because, when you get yourself through things, you get to a point where you're like, thank you, Amara, for getting me through this, and you kind of build this loyalty towards yourself of like, I'm strong, I can get through what life throws at me. And you build a thicker skin. I also need to make sure my ears aren't popping out, because that is like a pet peeve of mine, when my ears pop out my hair. And sometimes they just love to come say hi. And I just love to say bye. I was losing the weight. I was kind of getting myself together, and I was also healing from this breakup. And then I found myself in a rom-com, basically, is what happened, okay? Found myself in a major, major rom-com. So I was moving out of this apartment at the time, and this was like 2 weeks before I was supposed to move out. I come out my door, I walk downstairs, this gorgeous tanned olive skin, golden kind of hair, blue eyes. He's walking up the stairs and he looks at me and he's like, oh, hey, like, I'm your new neighbor. I'm moving in below you. And I'm like, oh, God. Woo! This is great news, okay? And then I start kind of like seeing him here and there. He asked me for his Wi-Fi. He asked me to like help him bring out some chairs, like all very random things, which I know was just his move to hang out with me. But anyways, he was having a little birthday shaboodle at his apartment. He sent me a text and he invited me. I have always had a major fear of environments when I don't have a person or I don't have like a rock to lean on. I also hate walking into places by myself. It's just like a level of weird anxiety. I just don't like it. And I remember being like, yeah, of course, like I'll come. But as the days kind of loomed closer and the realization hit that I'm gonna have to go to this, birthday thing, to my neighbor who lives right downstairs, and he's gonna have all his friends there, and I'm gonna kind of walk in alone. I was getting very anxious about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I remember the night of, I hear all the people downstairs. It's like music is blasting, and I swear to you, the I was supposed to be there at 8. I didn't make it there until 9:30, 10, because I was walking up and around my sitting room for a good hour, being like, do I just make up an excuse? Do I go? Do I not go? I don't know what to do. And I stood by my front door for 10 minutes, like talking myself out of doing this. But then I said to myself, you are going to feel like such a loser if you do not go into this apartment and mingle. And what is the worst that is going to happen? So it was like the feeling of not doing it, I knew would eat me up more than the feeling of doing it. And that is such a key to anything you want to achieve in life. It's like, what's the saying? There's a quote. There is a quote. A bill of success is too high. Wait. Found it. If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill for regret. And that was totally my feeling towards going to this guy's apartment. It's like I just knew if I don't do this, I am going to feel like a loser who will never get a guy again. Okay, so I walked right in and I had a great time. So many people were like, oh, so you're the sexy neighbor who lives upstairs. I was like, this is great. This is great. What was I worrying for? And after that night, my perspective on pushing yourself into uncomfortable situations changed, because I gained so much confidence from walking into that room. Having a smile on your face, a smile goes such a long way, and sometimes you don't think that, like, why do we get it in our heads that we have like social anxiety? Why do we think that people are staring? People have better things to do in their life, So you get in this state of like, everyone's going to look at me and judge me. No one's looking, no one's judging. Just put a smile on your face, smile, have a little giggle, make some people laugh, and you are good to go. And that was like a very pivotal moment. It sounds silly, but that was such a pivotal moment in terms of me just like getting my spark back and my confidence back. And then I found myself starting to just put myself in situations where it gave me a bit of anxiety, but then I had a great time. Like, there is a lot of power in just owning who you are, smiling and having a little giggle and not taking anything too seriously, because what is the worst that's going to happen? We forget how important human connection is. And it's ironic, I'm speaking to you guys behind a screen, but that is life these days. Everything is behind a screen. That sometimes you can find yourself uncomfortable when you actually have to meet a person and speak to them face to face. But that's human connection. Us talking behind a screen is not human connection. It's just the way things are going. And granted, a lot of good has come with that. A lot of success and building and putting yourself out there and brand making and all these kinds of things. But we can't forget how important it is to put yourself in a room of people you don't know and mingle and make some friends. And we all have so much that we can share with one another that, sometimes listening and speaking to a person and putting yourself out there, you can gain so much knowledge. And I think that's a really beautiful thing of life, is always stay curious, because it keeps your mind open to new experiences, to new perspectives, to new conversations. And that definitely helped me with my confidence. I'm also going to talk about another thing, which was two other things actually. So I have always rushed my speech, and it's come from when I was little. It's definitely a subconscious thing of feeling like I don't deserve to be heard. So whenever I find myself in uncomfortable situations or dealing with hard people and being having conversations with tough people, and I'm a bit stressed out and I'm a bit intimidated and scared, I have tended to always rush my speech. Even like a big goal with me in this podcast is to not speak too fast, you know, because it's always this thing of like, I just want to get it out. But it's not really coming from a secure place. And it's definitely something I've been trying to work on. But a big takeaway for confidence is take your time with things. Don't rush. Even when you're dating and you're getting to know a guy, guys and girls are so different. Guys love space. And girls, when they like a guy, they just want to be around you the whole time, you know? But guys actually grow fondness in space and having their own space. Whereas girls were a lot different, but you need to master the beauty of space and the beauty of keeping your making your home, your environment a peaceful place for you and yourself only. And then when the time is right, you can let someone in. You can let someone in, but you always have to remember that this is your world and you have small little parts of your world, okay? And that could be the guys you're speaking to, the friends you're making, work, career, whatever. It all builds and makes up your world. But creating space for yourself and allowing things to take time, just like your body has a natural rhythm, relationships have a natural rhythm, we all have a natural flow about things. And I think if you can learn to just take your time with things, it breeds confidence because it doesn't create desperation or distrust. It creates strength, it creates control, willpower, self-control, all these things. So taking your time. Have you noticed how I've slowly started to speak a bit slower? That's because I'm trying to take my time. So that has definitely helped me with my confidence too. And then another thing, obviously, my skin. So I've spoken about this a lot. I'm still struggling with my skin to this day. I am 24 and I have hormonal adult acne. And it sounds so sexy, and I'm gonna tell you, it really is. It's the sexiest thing ever. No, I'm just kidding. It makes me feel really unsexy at times. But what I will say is my acne has been the a huge catalyst in my confidence because I have forced myself to do things, whether it's go on BuzzFeed. I once went on BuzzFeed and this was like a huge deal for me. I went on BuzzFeed to do one of those segments of like making I made a guy a chicken wrap alongside two other girls, and he had to choose his favorite chicken wrap, and then you date the guy, not date the guy, but it's like a weird little dating segment, okay? Anyways, my chicken wrap came lost because it was shit. It was really a terrible chicken wrap. I did not put any heart or soul into it. I rushed it. The whole thing was not great. But I remember I was so nervous to do that because I had the most cystic acne going on. And the day of, I was so insecure and I was like, I really want to cancel. Like, I cannot be seen on camera and can't put myself on YouTube with all this acne on my face. Like, this is mortifying. And I just remember being like, you have got to do it because what's more important is your soul and how your soul feels and the memories you create and how proud you're going to feel after you go do your thing. That's the same with dates. I remember as well, like last summer, I met a guy and I was so nervous to meet him because I had terrible acne. Terrible acne. But the guy was obsessed with me. No, I'm kidding. But the guy and I had a great time and we were seeing each other for months and months and months. And it's like the acne wasn't the thing that stopped him from wanting to get to know me. You put so much emphasis on aesthetics and how you look, and people are not going to remember you for the acne on your face. They are going to remember you for the way you make them laugh, the way you make them feel. Obviously, sexual attraction is important, and I'm going to make a whole other segment on sexual attraction and tapping into your sexual vibes, because that's a huge part of building confidence and becoming a woman as well, is knowing how to work your magic. But we will save that for another day. Anyways, your aesthetics do not define who you are as a person. Obviously, they're a big part of it. Take care in your appearance. Try to eat well. Try to look after yourself. But if you've got gut problems, you've got gut problems. You know, they do not go away overnight. So try to make every day of struggling with that, make it fun. Make yourself fall in love with yourself. Make yourself feel proud of yourself and feel sexy no matter what is going on. Put your best lingerie on, put your best outfit on, do your hair nice, do your nails nice, and own your assets, and don't let your insecurities define you, because you are so much more than that. As soon as you just let your love and your light shine, like, prettiness is not just aesthetics. Prettiness is your energy. Prettiness is how you treat people. Prettiness is how you speak to yourself. Prettiness is grace and class and keeping your peace, keeping the people's peace around you. Like, prettiness is really, really an energy. And I think sometimes we forget that when we base so much on the aesthetics and, your waist size and your big backside and your skin and your all these kinds of things. That's my little confidence 101, because there's a lot to say about confidence, and confidence is really trial and error. Confidence is putting yourself in situations that don't feel very comfortable, and confidence is trusting yourself. Want to be an XYZ type of woman? It takes confidence and courage to get there. You can't have courage without confidence. You got this. And don't let anyone ever tell you any different. Alrighty guys, it's been a pleasure. Until next time. Mwah.